Hello YouTube and the rest of the internet. Today I'm gonna be buzzing my hair. It is something that I have been doing for the last couple of months, but usually I try to do my entire head just one length. So today I thought I'm gonna challenge myself and I'm gonna try and give myself a fade. These are the hair clippers that I own and the ones that I'll be using today. I have to say that this is definitely not the best hair clippers that I've ever used, but these are the only ones that I have, and I cannot afford a new one, so this is what I'm working with. Also, a few things that you should know about this particular hair clipper is the fact that it only comes with one guard. You put it in and then you just lower it or raise it according to the length that you desire. And if you're gonna do your own hair, if you're gonna buzz your own hair, always start off at the longest setting possible, and you can always go shorter after that, because otherwise there's no going back. Another thing that you should know about this is that this thing does not buzz really well. It does its job, but you do have to turn it off every minute or so to get rid of any of the hairs in between, because otherwise it will stop buzzing properly. To get rid of the hairs that are in between this hair clipper, I have this little white brush here that will help me get rid of any hairs in between, and I'll be able to continue buzzing that way. Now, before I get started, you should know that if you're gonna buzz your own hair, and I guess it kind of depends on the kind of hair you have, maybe the hair clipper that you have, you can actually buzz your hair when it's dry. But I have noticed personally that if I make my hair slightly wet, it works slightly better. So that's what I'll be doing. And you might be wondering why I'm still wearing a tank top. There is a good reason for that. It's because I am a little fat. So I know that there is no mercy on the internet, and I do not feel comfortable or confident enough to be showing you anything regarding my body. So that is why I'll be keeping the tank top on, and any hairs that might be stuck on it, I'll just, wave it around for a little bit to get rid of all the hairs, and it'll just go in the laundry basket. It'll be completely fine. With that said, let's begin. First thing that I'm gonna do is I'm going to make the hair a little wet, and I'm gonna do the sides and the back only. If I need to make it more wet, I can always do that, but look, this is what my hair looks right now. I think it's a bit too long, so that's why I'm gonna change that today. Now that I have made my hair wet, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the sides. Don't start at the top of your head. Start from the sides and do the back as well, and then move your way up. So when the sides and the back are finished, that's when we will switch over to the top of the head. So let's get buzzing, shall we? Don't be afraid to, go in different directions or whatever. Just do what makes you comfortable. And we're at the longest setting, so if you do feel like your hair is still a little bit too long afterwards, you can always try a guard lower or whatever. I'm also making sure that I go over the same spot multiple times to make sure that I definitely get everything and don't miss a spot. So when I start to realize that this thing isn't really buzzing properly anymore, that's when I need to turn it off and get rid of any of the hairs in between to make sure I can keep buzzing properly. It's already looking a little better than before, but I think I'm gonna go a little bit shorter on the sides and the back. So this is the longest setting, and I'm just gonna have to push it down one more time so that it is slightly shorter. And I don't know if it's going to make a lot of difference, but yeah, we're gonna see. I think this length is definitely better. So yeah, it definitely looks way better. And I'm gonna go pretty high up. I'm gonna go all the way like up here. Maybe not a perfect circle around the head, but that's okay. I can always double check my work and make adjustments if I need it. One of the more difficult spots is right here by the ear. If I maybe can show you a little up close, you can see that the hairs around the ear are still a little bit too long, but I'm afraid to be using the buzzer for that because I don't think that I can do it perfectly and I will probably ruin it that way. So after I'm finished and it all looks good, I will just make it a little bit shorter with some scissors. I think the sides and the back are starting to look pretty good. I don't know if I want to go shorter. I don't know if that's entirely necessary, but if I take a look, oh, there's a lot of hairs here. But this is something that I'm also not going to do myself. This is a bit too scary. I'm afraid that I will buzz a little bit too high and then, you know, end up with a pretty bad looking haircut. But after I'm finished, I can always text my mom to help me out with the hairs on my neck. One of the downsides of being a Middle Eastern man. I'm gonna use the same length again, and I'm gonna go over the sides and the back just 1 or 2 more times to make sure that I got all the hairs, and then we're gonna move on to the next part. Still got a lot of hair, so I kind of have the feeling that I'm not quite finished yet, so I'm gonna go over it again. Okay, so the sides and the back are almost finished. Just ignore the hairs below the neckline. These I will have to ask help with, and of course by the ear they're not also perfectly rounded, which is something that I'm also a bit afraid to do with the hair clipper, so I'm just gonna use some small scissors afterwards. But yeah, and the hairs on the back of the neck is gonna be done with hopefully my mom's help, but I will contact her later. The next step is doing this part and of course the top of my head. I will be using the longest setting again because this one is a lot shorter now. I can definitely tell a difference, but we also need to do the top of the head. It needs to be shorter. Before I do the top of my head, we're gonna make my hair a little damp. Okay, so now my hair is a little damp and I think it will work slightly better using these hair clippers. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave it on the longest setting and then just gonna go right over from front to back, and we're gonna see how that works out. You might have noticed that every time I go over it from front to back, I use my hand to flatten it again, because I realized last time with these hair clippers, it just works a little bit better when it comes to buzzing. So that is why every time I go over a section, I will be using my hand to flatten it down. Let's keep going. It's already looking pretty different, actually. I kind of like it. But we still have some work to do. Looking at the top of my head, do you see the difference already? Because I can definitely tell and feel the difference. But going through my hair with my hands, I realized that this part is shorter, but here it's longer. I have way too much more to grab. So I'm gonna focus a little bit more on the crown, I guess you call it, of your head, to get some of these hairs shorter as well, because otherwise it's gonna be very uneven. Still at the longest setting, by the way. Still at the longest setting, by the way. So grabbing it now, it does feel a little different. It's less, but definitely not quite there yet. I think here, specifically here, is still a little bit too long, so I'm gonna go over this spot just 1 or 2 more times. It feels so much better now, and I'm just gonna go over my not entire head, the top of my head with this thing again on the longest setting, just to make sure that I didn't miss a spot or places are uneven. So let me just go at it again. Okay, I'm gonna have to stop because my hair is almost completely dry, but it's too dry. So I'm just gonna make it a little damp again. It is definitely getting a lot easier. I noticed that, it's not really buzzing away a lot of hairs anymore. But I think this length is good. I don't think I need to go any shorter, but I'm gonna go over it again. I think that we are done here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to call up my mother and ask her for a little bit of help with the hairs on my neck. Get rid of those. I'm gonna then clean up the bathroom floor because it is covered in hair, and so am I. And I'm gonna take a shower, and then I'm gonna show you the finished result.
A few inches later.
This is the final result. All things considered, I think I did a decent job. My mom helped me with the hairs on the back. Looks much cleaner that way. She did mention this M shape I have in the back, but we don't know why that is. Still, I think it looks good, and I managed to give myself a pretty decent fade. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that I not only entertained you, but may have also taught you a little bit about how to buzz your own hair. If I did, then leave it down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, then please give it a like, and the best thing you can do to support me is to subscribe to this channel. Thank you again, and I will see you guys next time.